Yeah, it's not the music.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to SportsBeat Weekly, a production of Oregon SportsBeat, your leader in live local sports. SportsBeat Weekly is an interview-style format focusing on local high school athletes, coaches, and programs. I'm your host, Dave Pahl. I'm joined this week by our co-host, Eric Knox, former girls basketball head coach at Vancil High School and winner of a state championship in 2019
and
and
the
the
runner-up in 2023.
2023.
Our
Our
producer is
producer is
Ryan
Ryan
Johnson.
Johnson.
Our
Our
show
show
today
today
highlights
highlights
the
the
upcoming
upcoming
boys and girls basketball season
season
as
as
teams have already started their action last week. In fact, we'll have some scores to report for you. Our
Our
guests
guests
today
today
include
include
head
head
coaches
coaches
Kate
Kate
Williams.
Williams.
She's
She's
the
the head
girls
girls
basketball
basketball
coach
coach
at
at
3A
3A
school
school
Catlin
Catlin
Gabel.
Gable.
Andy
And
Vancil,
Vancil,
he's
he's
the
the
boys
boys
basketball
basketball
coach at
coach at
Beaverton.
Beaverton.
Luke
Luke
Lindell,
Lindell,
he's
he's
the
the
girls
girls
basketball
basketball
coach
coach
at
at
Newberg.
Newberg.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Watts,
Watts,
who
who
is
is
the
the
boys
boys
basketball
basketball
coach
coach
at
at
Laleridge.
Laleridge.
Rahim
Rahim
Tufts,
Tufts,
who's
who's
the
the
basketball
basketball
coach
coach
at
at
Sherwood.
Sherwood.
And
And
David
David
Blue,
Blue,
who's
who's
the
the
head
head
basketball
basketball
coach
coach
at
at
Central
Central
Catholic
Catholic
High
High
School.
School.
Before
Before
we
we
start with our
start our
interviews,
interviews,
I
I
want
want
to
to
describe
describe
an
an
incident
incident
that
that
occurred
occurred
at
at
Central
Central
Catholic
Catholic
High
High
School
School
Friday
Friday
night.
night.
I
I
was
was
doing the
doing the
play-by-play
play-by-play
along with my
along with
broadcast partner,
partner
Mike
Mike
Abraham.
Abraham.
Central
Central
Catholic
Catholic
was
was
playing
playing
Skyview.
Skyview.
Now,
Now,
before
before
games
we
start,
start,
a
a
PA
PA
announcer,
announcer,
what he
what he
does
does
is
is
he
he gives the code of conduct for the students and for the fans.
and
And
then
then
he
he
tells the
tells the
fans,
fans,
stand up
stand
if
up
you
for the
can for the
anthem, the
national
national
anthem.
anthem.
Everybody stood up.
Stood up.
Central
Central
Catholic
Catholic
has
has
a
a
lot of
lot of
live
live
national
national
anthems,
anthems,
but
but
on
on
this
this
particular
particular
night,
night,
last
last
Friday,
Friday,
they
they
had
had
a
a
recording.
recorder.
They
They
put the
put the
recording
recording
on
on
and
and
started
started
it,
it,
and
and within
within 2
2
seconds it
seconds
was
it was
garbled.
garbled.
So
So
they
they
stopped
stopped
it,
it,
started it again, it
started
garbled
it
again,
again,
stopped
and
it.
it garbled
Fans
again.
now are kind of
Stopped it.
wondering what's going to
Fans
happen.
now are kind of wondering what's
Started it again, it was
going to happen
garbled,
here.
and they stopped.
Started,
At this
it was
point in time,
garbled. They
the
stopped.
head
At this
coach
point in
of
time,
Central Catholic,
the head
David
coach of
Blue,
Central
stepped away
Catholic,
from the
David
team,
Blue, stepped away
stepped
from
out
the
towards
team,
the center,
stepped out toward the
put
center,
his hands up,
put his hands
signaled
up, signaled
everybody,
everybody,
let's sing.
let's sing.
And
And they started,
the
the
place
place
started
started
singing.
singing.
I
I
looked
looked
around
around
from
from
my
my
vantage
vantage
point.
point. I looked down, all the kids were singing. All the fans from Central Catholic and Skyview were singing. The players were singing.
Everybody standing up?
Everybody standing up. The senior citizens standing up were really singing, and they sang it, and the gym was full. And it resonated in the gym so much. Went all the way through the national anthem and stopped, and then there was about 5 minutes of silence. Where people just were taking in what just happened. You know, just everybody in that gym. I mean, our country's gonna celebrate 250 years next year. And what a patriotic thing that was for everybody to stand up. It reminded me of the incident with the Portland Trailblazers head coach Maurice Cheeks. When the little girl sang and forgot the words to the national anthem, he went out, put his arm around her and sang it with her. But I was greatly moved by that whole thing.
It doesn't surprise me about David Blue doing something like that, but there's something about the national anthem that brings out sentimentality in our culture, and I'm not shocked. There's something about it being unplugged and unscripted that makes the moment what it was. So I was just there.
It was really good. You know what? One thing I like to tell people is the national anthem. It was written as a poem. It wasn't music later, but it was written by a lawyer. He was a prisoner on an English boat out in the harbor in Baltimore and was watching English shell Fort McHenry. The question was, is the flag still going to be there in the morning? That's the story behind the national anthem. But I was so moved by all of that that I just, took me a second to start in on my broadcast.
Man, of course, Dave, spoken from a true lawyer. Is there anything that you don't know? Thank you for the nice backstory. Good Lord. I would have never known that.
All right, we're going to head out. We're going to get started. We're going to tip off with our first guest, and we're joined by Kate Williams. She's the girls basketball coach at 3A Catlin Gabel. Coach Williams, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me this morning or this afternoon.
It is this afternoon. I know you played Delphian on Friday night. How'd you do?
Good. We snuck out a win. Probably the lowest scoring victory I've been a part of, but it was 17-15. So it's always nice to get that first win of the season.
Well, I didn't hear you, but what was the result again?
Oh, sorry. Could you repeat the question? I couldn't quite hear you.
Okay, I know you played Delphian on Friday night. How'd you do?
Good. We won. Always good to get that first win of the season.
And that, I'm trying to remember, are they a league opponent or was that a non-league game?
That was a non-league game for us.
Okay. For people who might not be familiar with you, let's get a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about your playing background and your coaching background.
Sure. I'm actually a graduate of Catlin Gabel, so it's nice to have be able to come kind of full circle. I graduated from Catlin in 2001. I was a 4-year varsity sport athlete, so fortunate enough to win 4 state championships as a soccer player here, play 4 years of varsity basketball, and then in the springtime, it kind of mixed it up a little bit. I did 1 year of golf, 1 year of tennis, and 2 years of track and field. So really enjoyed the team sports and the camaraderie that comes with being able to participate on teams, and lucky enough to go to Wheaton College in Massachusetts, which is a small Division III school, and play basketball there for 4 years.
What got you to college in Massachusetts?
Good question. My sister actually played basketball for Brown University. She played, she was a basketball player at Jesuit under Kathy Adelman. And so she was already playing at Brown. My good friend was playing soccer at Connecticut College. I thought it was a good opportunity to see a different part of the country. It was a good academic fit for me as well, and a good athletic fit. So
tell us then how you got started in coaching.
Sure. I graduated from Wheaton in 2005 and actually started coaching shortly after there under the head coach I played for. So I was the first assistant at Wheaton for 3 years after that. So from 2005 to 2008, and we were able to lead one of the teams to a league championship and into the NCAA tournament, which was always fun and exciting to be a part of. I then moved back to Oregon and took a break, some kids, and then returned to Catlin Gabel as the head coach in 2015, and have been here at Catlin Gabel as the head women's coach since 2015.
I think you told me this is your 11th year as the head coach at Catlin Gabel.
Yes. So,
how'd you guys do last year?
Definitely a building year. Our numbers have been pretty low coming out of COVID, unfortunately. So much more of a building year last year. We had 2 wins, 1 league win, but really excited about our numbers this year. And we got a handful of freshmen that have come out, which is always great. And then, the returners that are excited to get back out on the court and compete.
You know, when I talked to you the other day in anticipation of your interview now, you told me something that kind of really interested me. You guys have a no-cut policy. So I think you told me you have 3 girls on your roster this year who have never played basketball.
That is correct. We are a no-cut school throughout. Athletics begin at Catlin Gabel in the 5th grade. We're a preschool through 12 institution. So from 5th to 12th, we offer athletics, and it's no cut throughout. And that's where kind of the participation numbers really do impact kind of team formations. Right now, I have 14 in the whole program. And so that means there are 3, like I said, that have never played, coupled with, my 4-year returners, 3-year, varsity returners. So it's an eclectic mix and a spectrum of skill and kind of differentiating practices to make sure you're reaching your returners, and also making sure those first-time players come back, because, ideally you get back to a JV team at different points of time. I've had JV teams so that those players that are really developing have an opportunity to develop and get on the court and play with like skilled teams. So,
Coach, how does the practice go when you have such a disparity in levels of ability? I shouldn't say ability, levels of knowledge of the game. Do you have to separate people on the level of practice?
Yeah, so we really try. I have an assistant, so I do really try to do a combination of, yes, like splitting, kind of depending on what drills we're doing, and then also making sure we're keeping an eye on that team cohesion and chemistry and making everyone feel a part of the team. But yeah, I do differentiate, and half the team go here, or this group goes here, or making sure we are getting reps in. But at the skill level that matches the player. So really, the assistant coach and I are working pretty hard at making sure we're designing practice to reach all the different skills.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the players you have returning and your new players this year who are gonna play. Give us some information on some of your players.
Sure. Well, I actually have just one senior that's been a 4-year varsity player, Maddie Snyder, who, I just adore. She's been in the program for 4 years. She has a huge heart, loves the game. And it's just been nice to obviously work with her and have her be a part of the program for 4 years. So excited to kind of see what she puts together for her for senior year. We got Sydney Perlowitz. She's a 3-year varsity starter, so she's just a junior, but she started with us, and she's kind of game face. She's a competitor. She's one that you want her to take the last shot or the ball in her hand. But what's been really nice is we have a couple sophomores and another junior, so we kind of have a group of about 6 that have played together for a little bit now, and it's been fun to kind of see them gel together and put some things together early on in the season that make me excited. So
when's your next game, Coach?
Oh, we play tomorrow. We play at Gaston tomorrow, and then we are in Dayton for a 3-day tournament starting on Thursday. So 4 games this week, busy week, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
what's the outlook for your league for this season?
The league for this season? Is that what?
Who are the teams to watch?
Sure. Yeah. We play in the Lewis and Clark League. Valley Catholic is always very strong in our league. OES is a tough competitor. Westside Christian kind of emerged last season, took that 3rd spot in league last year. But really, what's kind of fun is I think this year it's a little bit more up for grabs. Valley and OES kind of stand out as the top teams to beat. But it should be a fun league this year.
All right, Coach. Thanks for updating us on the situation with the girls basketball at Catlin Gabel. We're going to follow you during the course of the season. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep track of you and have you back at another time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you again.
All right, that was Coach Kate Williams of Catlin Gabel.
Now I'd like to take the time to thank our sponsors, starting with Sports Paint LLC. Hey Coach, at Sports Paint LLC, we proudly service local high schools with cutting-edge technology. Our robot painter delivers razor-sharp, consistent lines every single time, specializing in football, soccer, and lacrosse. Any grass or turf field at an affordable price with perfect lines and robotic precision. We're locally owned, hassle-free, and reliable, committed to making your fields look game day ready. Let us handle the field so that you can focus on the team. Contact us at 503-545-4019 or visit our website at www.sportspaintllc.com. Sunset Corridor Services Group LLC is a local company that provides specialty property management services throughout the Portland area. If you're thinking about making changes to how your residential properties are managed, give them a call at 503-970-6062. And finally, at Gilda's Italian, we believe the best food is prepared simply using the best possible ingredients and made with love. The same type of food you would experience in Italian homes, whether here or in Italy. Come check out Gilda's at 1601 Southwest Morrison, next to the Timber Stadium. That's Gilda's Italian Restaurant. Dave?
We're going to head out to our phone lines for our next interview. We're going to be joined by Andrew Vancil. He's the head coach at the head boys basketball coach at Beaverton High School. Coach Vancil, thanks for joining us.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
First of all, congratulations on a big win last Friday night. You guys beat Lake Oswego by a point.
Yeah, it was a great way for us to start out the season. on the road in a tough environment. Anytime you play the school that wins the 6A state championship in football, you got to think there's going to be some big bodies and some good athletes, and they had that. I think their whole football team was in the student section, so it was a great environment. We were down 9 at halftime, and kids played a great third quarter, came out first 5 minutes and really executed. And so, yeah, just a gutsy win and a good way to start off our season. So excited for the boys.
I think most people are familiar with you as a coach, but tell us a little bit about your background as a player and how you got started in coaching.
Yeah. So I grew up in the area. I went to St. John Fisher school from K through 8. My dad was a coach. My mom was a secretary. So we had a key to the gym. I was in there all the time, and then ended up playing my first 3 seasons at Jesuit High School and then transferred to Beaverton. I got a chance to be around Gene Potter and Nick Robertson as a high school player. So 2 of the best coaches in the state's history.
If I were dropping names, if I wanted people to be impressed by basketball names, Gene Potter and Nick Robertson would be at the top of my list, and you dealt with both of them.
Yeah. I mean, I still do a lot of the same stuff in practices and games that I learned from Gene and Nick, 2 of the better coaches I've ever been around, and still have a good relationship with both of them today. But basketball, I loved it. It was my favorite sport in high school. I played football, basketball, and baseball, but my best sport was baseball. So I ended up getting some money to play that at the next level, and I played in Kansas and California, and then came back to the area and got a teaching job at Holy Trinity, and then eventually Beaverton High School. And I've coached football, basketball, and baseball here, but I've been the head basketball coach here for this is my 12th season. So excited for the future ahead.
You have coached football, basketball, and baseball in Beaverton. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. I was the head JV baseball coach for a couple years. I was the varsity defensive line coach for a few years when I first got started, but I've been all basketball the last 10 seasons. So those days are kind of in my rearview mirror coaching other sports.
How's the program been going at Beaverton?
Well, last year we had our roughest season since I've been here. The 3 years before that, we'd made the state tournament 3 years in a row. So we had a lot of success. And then last year we had 1 senior, and we were young and inexperienced, and we took our lumps. But as I tell the kids today, we went through it to have success this season. So my hope is that handling adversity last year and having some tough games. The kids have all gotten bigger. They're stronger. They're a year older, more mature. We had a good summer. We've added 3 football kids to the mix that have decided to come out, which has made it just a much more competitive environment, which is what we want. We want our kids competing every day, and that's what we're trying to create in practice is good pressure situations and really high competition. So I'm really excited for this group, and we have some depth. So we're hoping that we can turn the page from last season and get back to where we've kind of been the last 5 seasons before.
Well, with that coaching credentials that you have, you're also a teacher, are you not?
Yeah, I teach health and PE at the high school, and this is my 13th year at Beaverton as an educator.
All right, tell us a little bit about your players this year. Who you got returning, and who are some of your new players?
Yeah. I have 2 really good guards returning. The first one is Jenga Mungai, who had 25 points against Lake Oswego, played a really good second half. He's a senior captain for me. He's getting some small college looks right now, and he's really come a long way. He tore his ACL his sophomore season. We were in the Final Four that year, and Jenga was most likely going to be getting some minutes and impacting that team, and he had to sit out his whole sophomore year. And worked really hard to come back, and he's fully healthy now, and he looks great. So excited for Jenga. Another player to look for, he was a 3rd-team All-Metro kid last year, is a Metabalo. He plays kind of the 1 or the 2 for us, a left-handed guard, very athletic, very quick. He's getting better with his decision-making, and we're putting a lot of pressure on him to be a good decision-maker and lead us this season, and I'm looking for him to make a jump from his first 2 seasons. 3rd player to look for would be Blake Unruh. He's going to be a junior captain. His father was the Oregon State Player of the Year in 1993 at South Salem for Barry Adams. And,
Oh, I do remember that.
yeah, yeah. And so Blake is he's a coach's dream. He is a great leader. He's the voice of our team. He's got the most energy. He's in the right places at the right times. He's a great example for our younger kids, and he can really shoot it and has great feel. So I'm really excited where Blake is at. He's come a long way from middle school until now, and just a kid who really wants it. And you can tell by the way he plays. If you watch him, just got a lot of heart muscle and really plays hard. Fourth kid that is a young player for us and has really shown us some promise is King Brazil. And King played JV as a freshman last year and played a lot of minutes for us in our jamboree, and then played a great game against Lake Oswego. But really good athlete, high basketball IQ, wants to get a lot better, very coachable kid, really unselfish. And, we've given him a few roles on this team, and he's just completely grasped them. And he's a team-first guy, wants to win. And his athleticism, he makes a lot of plays with his athleticism. So just keeping him on the right track as a young kid, playing in a big spot here for us moving forward. But King Brazil is a kid to look for. And then finally, the fifth kid, I would say, he set the state record this year for touchdowns in the state of Oregon. That's Oliver Lukebert. And Oliver was on my Final Four team as a sophomore, played a very big role on that team. He's a great competitor. He's probably the best athlete in the Metro League, or one of the best athletes in the Metro League. And he's decided to come out and play football his senior year. Now, he has a separated shoulder, and he's going to be back in a few weeks. But when he gets back into the mix, I imagine he will be a big impact kid for us moving forward. So those guys kind of stand out to me now.
When's your next game, Coach?
We play tomorrow at Beaverton against Franklin, and then we play Friday at Beaverton against Liberty.
Our director, Ben Pahl, has a comment for you.
Just a quick comment. Hey, Coach, I wanted to get this in there. Jamie Sweatman wanted me to say what's up to you. He's one of my best friends, and he heard we were interviewing you today.
Oh, that's my guy. The people's champ is what we call Sweatman. 150 pounds as a senior.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
150 pounds as a senior and taking 20 charges.
Good luck on your games this week. We're going to follow up with you during the season, and maybe later on we can get you back on again.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah, anytime. I'm open for it.
All right, that's Coach Andrew Vancil, the boys basketball coach at Beaverton. We're going to shift gears now. We're going to talk with our next head coach, and that's Luke Lindell, and he's the girls basketball coach at Newberg High School. Hi, Coach Lindell.
How's it going?
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You played, I believe last Friday night, you played Lake Oswego, and you played them pretty tough.
Yeah, we did. It was a tight game, and we really cost ourselves with some crucial turnovers, and one kind of just a first game deal. We have a lot of young players, and really competed hard on the defensive end. It wasn't a lack of effort; it was really just kind of a lack of execution, which you come to kind of expect that with young teams, and frustrating loss for us, but certainly one that we can grow from, and excited for the next challenge.
Yeah, I think was it 38-35 a three-point loss?
It was, yeah, and it again the turnovers, and just didn't shoot very well, close to the basket in 2-point range, and the shots that I think that we're going to be able to make later on just didn't fall, and again a lot of adversity kind of hit our way, and that's kind of what the preseason's for. And so again we look to work on that and fix it and attack it in practice, and get back tomorrow against a good Crescent Valley team and see our level of improvement.
Now, tell us a little bit about your background in basketball. I know you played. I know you're from here in Oregon. And tell us about your coaching background, too.
All right, yeah, no, I grew up in Dufert, Oregon, a little small town in south of the Dalles in central Oregon, and grew up on a wheat ranch, cattle ranch there, and went to Dufert High School. Played under some really, really tremendous coaches. Jack Henderson in football is a legendary coach in the state of Oregon and nationally with how many state championships they've won at the 8-man level. Played under Holly Darden, another great basketball coach, longtime basketball coach there in Dufert. Won a state title my senior year in basketball and football. Definitely set me on a trajectory of leadership. Was really role model to me by those two individuals, and lucky that they were present when I was going through there. And then went to Linfield College, ended up knowing some people through the 8-man football ranks, and got a coaching job at Perrydale High School. That's just south of Amity and south of McMinnville. Coaching football there, and then during the football season, they asked me if I wanted to coach JV boys basketball, and got started with that when I was 20 years old, coaching JV boys basketball under a coach named Terry Newton. He was a really great friend of mine, still coaching at Pleasant Hill today. So coached there for JV boys for 2 years, then I was going to my master's program at Western Oregon and got the head girls job. I was 22 years old there and did that for 10 years before I switched over and came to Newberg and been here. This is my 12th season. So 22 seasons now coaching varsity basketball and 2 seasons coaching JV boys, so 24th overall.
We were talking to Coach Vancil from Beaverton just before, and he coached football, basketball, and baseball at Beaverton. And so you coached football and basketball and been a baseball player.
Yeah, and I was a baseball player, and I coached baseball at Perrydale. So I coached softball. So I kind of just, always coached 3 sports kind of growing up, and a young teacher and young family, and wanted to make a little extra money, and and I just love coaching and being around kids. And Perrydale was just a tremendous start for me in the coaching profession. I had some really good mentors there: Dan Dugan, Chris Gubrid, just incredibly smart people, great leaders, and allowed me, to have an opportunity to grow in the profession. And it definitely set me on a really good trajectory. So really thankful for that opportunity.
12 years coaching football, 12 years coaching basketball. That's a pretty good run in both. How'd you guys do last year?
We finished just a little above 500. We were 13 or 14 and 11, I do believe. Lost in the first round of the state playoffs against South Medford. We had our point guard had tore ACL during soccer season, and that definitely, set us back a little bit. It was definitely changed the team. She'd been a 3-year or 2-year starter before that as a point guard freshman and sophomore year. So my daughter stepped into that role and, did change things. But, the team really grew. We had a really good group of seniors, some real, stud interior players that really led us. And, we were a tough out and, really great group of competitive kids that, really wanted to win. And, I thought got a lot better as the season went along. But we play in a really good league. And so, it's tough winning every night. So, but again, I thought we battled and, made the state playoffs, and that was a goal of the team, and, lost to a really good South Medford team.
Well, there's tough teams in the Pacific Conference. Tell us about your players. Who you got returning? Who's some new kids?
Yeah, we've got Kenzie Bluebaugh, the player I mentioned that tore her ACL last year. She's back healthy, which is awesome to see. Really is the heartbeat of the team. Point guard, toughness, really has a developing offensive game, but really her main value is in her spirit, her toughness, competitiveness. It's the heartbeat of the team. She's certainly someone that everybody leans into and counts on, in crucial situations. Really an extension of me on the floor. Again, I've spent a lot of time coaching her since she's been really little, and so it's been fun to watch her grow. I'm excited for her to come back. Peyton Lindell, my daughter, is also another senior guard, 4-year varsity player, 3-year starter. Can really shoot the basketball, has a knack for scoring. Is just continue to get. She's gotten bigger and stronger. Has become a even better defender than she was in the past. But super high basketball IQ, really understands the game, and someone we're counting on this year to carry a load for us on the offensive end of the floor. Kaylee Smith, another senior. Has been a varsity player the last couple of years, really didn't get a lot of minutes, but stepping into a new role with our front line graduating, it's her opportunity. I thought she played really well against Lake Oswego the other night. She really is an explosive, strong, fast kid. Just again, I don't think really understands how good she can be, but potential there is off the charts. And I think her senior year now, I think she's going to have a great one. It's really going to be a big key to our success is her consistency through the year. And then we've got 2 freshmen that are really talented ball players. Piper Hildreth, guard, extremely gifted, talented scorer, big, strong, can score at all 3 levels. Just a mature for her age, leader, work ethic, the whole thing. She's the total package, and someone that I think is going to be on the radar of a lot of people, as she moves through her high school experience. Really excited to have her. One of the best players we've ever had come into our program. The last one here is Elliot Nix. Again, a post player, freshman, comes from a great pedigree. Family members played at Portland State. 5'11", big, strong, athletic kid. That's only going to get better. I thought she played really, really well against Lake Oswego for her first varsity game, and was really is not bashful, not shy. Definitely wants to show what she can do, and again, just going to get better and better. And the sky's the limit for Elliot.
Coach, my co-host today used to be the head coach of Vancil. I don't know if you played them when he was there, Eric Knox. Eric has a question for you.
Okay.
What's up, Coach Lindell?
Coach Knox, how you doing, man?
Yeah, man. One of the hardest gyms to play in was always Newberg, man. The depth perception in that gym was very hard for our kids to shoot. But I had a question for you.
Sure.
If somebody watched your team for the first time, what do you hope they notice?
Yeah, I think it's the connectivity. I mean, I think you've got a group of kids that really buy into each other, and they, they're well coached. I think that's something I want people to see, that they're organized, they execute, they're going to be disciplined, they're going to do what they're asked to do, and they're going to do it extremely well. And I think whenever you see teams like that, I think that's a sign that they're playing in a good program. And for me as a coach, building a great program trumps winning. I want to develop a program that people enjoy watching, and teams that play consistently hard and consistently well. So I think that's the main thing I want somebody to say if they watched our team play, that they can recognize those things.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Thanks for updating us on your players for the coming year. We'll keep track of how Newberg girls basketball is doing. We'll follow up with you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again during the year.
Thanks. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach Lindell, the girls basketball coach in Newberg.
At Gilda's Italian Restaurant, we believe the best food is prepared simply, using the best possible ingredients and made with love. The same type of food you'd experience in Italian homes, whether here or in Italy. Come check out Gilda's at 1601 Southwest Morrison, next to the Timber Stadium. Gilda's Italian Restaurant. Sunset Corridor Services Group, LLC, is a local company that provides specialty property management services throughout the Portland area. If you're thinking about making changes to how your residential properties are managed, give them a call at 503-970-6062. Specializing in football, soccer, Hey Coach, your field deserves the best. At SportsBeat LLC, we proudly service local high schools with cutting-edge technology. Our robot painter delivers razor-sharp, consistent lines every single time. Specializing in football, soccer, and lacrosse, any grass or turf field at an affordable price with perfect lines and robotic precision. We are locally owned, hassle-free, and reliable. We're committed to making your fields look game day ready. Let us handle the field so that you can focus on the team. Contact us at 503-545-4019 or visit our website at www.sportspaintllc.com.
All right, Eric, Coach Knox.
What's up?
I was listening to Coach Lindell say you talked to him about depth perception in gyms. I've talked to many coaches who've told me about that. I remember as a player myself being in a strange gym. The dimensions are the same. The backgrounds are all different. What affects depth perception, like you were talking with Coach Lindell about?
I mean, the way their gym is set up, they don't have a traditional wall behind their backboard like a high school gym. So it's the way it's like a bubble, the way that gym is shaped. And so it's almost like if you're playing at the Child Center at a college university, you don't see that wall behind through the backboard. So visually, I think it kind of throws you off as a shooter. It takes a minute to adjust to that, and that's one of their advantages.
It never bothered me as a corner shooter, but from the outside on top, you see all that empty space behind the basket. Always bothered me.
Absolutely, it bothered. I think when we were like wrestling, trying to find our way and our footing as a basketball program, we went down there and got our teeth kicked in, and we could not make a basket.
All right, we're going to head back out to the lines. We're going to be joined by our next head coach, the head boys basketball coach at Laleridge High School, Jimmy Watts. Coach Watts, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Now, I'm trying to see, I don't have an update on how you guys did in last weekend on Friday or Saturday night. How'd you do?
We haven't played yet. We just had kind of a inter squad scrimmage that we do kind of each year to kind of a community event, kind of showcase all of our youth through high school teams. So we haven't had a game yet. We play Tuesday against Gresham.
Is that at Lake Ridge or at Gresham?
Yeah, that'll be at Lake Ridge. So that'll be our first game at home.
All right. Do you have another game in this week?
Yeah, we play in the Mountainside tournament. So we're squared away to play Sprague on Friday, and then based on how that works out, we'll either play Cleveland or Mountainside, depending on what happens there.
We've been talking to some of the other coaches today, and pretty much we've been talking to local people who went on and coached at high schools that they were from or played college ball in state. You have, I think both those apply to you, don't they?
Well, I mean, I grew up in small town, Lakeview, Oregon, kind of southern Oregon, and attended Willamette University. I was fortunate when they were NAIA, so I was able to get a full ride scholarship and play for Gordy James, who is, kind of a legend, Hall of Fame coach there, and they had just
He is a legend.
They had just won the national championship, the year before I came. So I got to walk into, a great program that was obviously, nationally known. And I was very fortunate there and did basketball and track. And then, that's kind of, how basically I ended up getting into coaching after playing a few years kind of in the International Basketball League that was kind of going on. I'd pursued some track stuff for a while and then came back and went back into a little IBL, playing for like Vancouver Volcanoes, the Portland Chinooks, and even the old Central Oregon Hotshots for a while over in Bend. So
Now, tell us about your coaching background.
I started coaching at Lake Ridge High School back in 2005. So I was here under Dave Nuss, who was the head coach at that particular time, and I had heard there was a position, kind of interviewed with him, and I became the varsity assistant. And then after that, I was JV coach for probably, 7 years. I've been, obviously, like I said, varsity assistant for other numerous coaches that came in. I did leave. I worked with Dane Walker for a while, who had come in after some success at Canby. Worked with him as varsity assistant as well as JV coach. I also worked with Fred Gold and kind of started going back to coaching freshmen again. After I had left, for 2 years, I left and went to Southridge High School and worked with Phil Vancil as an assistant there for a few years, just because a lot of the people I was under were kind of similar in philosophies. And so I felt I needed that to grow as a coach. And I felt that was a very wise thing. And then I came back under Fred and then eventually David Zong, who was the head coach prior to me. And I worked with him continuing to do freshmen until I got the head coaching job, and I'm in my third year as head coach.
Okay, third year head coach at Lake Ridge. How'd you guys do last year?
Last year was, as far as like record went, I went into last year knowing that it was not necessarily about wins and losses, because I put together probably one of the most difficult schedules in the state with us playing in the Tarkanian Classic. We got into the LSI and had to play like Gonzaga College Prep, one of the nationally ranked teams. And so we really put together a difficult schedule with high caliber opponents. And we ended up like 9-15 on the season. But we still, because of our strength of schedule, we were, ranked right around 26th, I think, and ended up, making playoffs for the second year in a row and played a very good Westview team that made it to the Final Four. Unfortunately, we had to square up with them first round, so that was tough.
Coach, we got a couple of minutes left. Tell us a little bit about some of the players we should watch on the Lake Ridge Pacers this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have 3 players who are returning who have all had varsity starting experience. One of them is Logan Barch Kovalchek. He's like a 6'3" junior, small forward, power forward, very dynamic, has a great motor, can kind of do everything. I mean, he can shoot the ball, he can drive. He's just got a great motor, helps us with a lot of the defenses we do. We have Heath Outcalt, who's also a junior, 5'10" point guard, shooting guard. He ended up getting a role when we had one of our point guards get injured in the LSI. We pulled him up from JV, and then he really just embraced that role and flourished, and kind of became a guy that was starting for us. And then we have a senior returner, Micah Leak, who is 5'11", point guard, shooting guard as well. So we have our guards. Our guard play is pretty good. We're just we lack a lot of size, so we're going to be playing some sophomores who have to kind of step up and fill some big roles. And kind of those guys to watch out for, I would say, are 6 foot sophomore Carson Pickens. He's a point guard, shooting guard. Brady Watts, my son, who's one of the taller kids that we have currently in our program. He's 6'4". He's a small forward, power forward. He just recently got injured on Saturday's practice, so we don't know really the extent of that to his shoulder. And then Daniel Lewis, who is really dynamic sophomore. He's only 6'2", but he plays power forward center for us. He's just real explosive and kind of plays like he's 6'5". So all those guys, I think, are going to be exciting to watch.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us and updating us on your players to watch this year. Good luck on your game against Gresham tomorrow night and your tournament action starting on Thursday night. We'll follow up and watch Lakeridge during the course of the season. Hopefully we can talk to you again.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me, and we'll talk soon.
All right, that's Coach Jimmy Watts, the boys basketball coach at Lakeridge. We're going to go out now and we're going to talk to Rahim Tufts. He's the boys basketball coach at Sherwood. Coach Tufts, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk some hoops.
I was looking at the results from over the weekend. You guys had two pretty tough games. You played Clackamas on Friday. I think you lost by a couple, and then on Saturday, I think you played Jesuit. So you had a couple of tough games to open the season.
Yeah, we did. We hosted our first annual Sherwood Winter Shootout, and Oregon City was in that tournament too. And Oregon City and Jesuit were playing just two heavyweights before us, and then we played Clackamas. And the Oregon City Jesuit game came down to the last 2 minutes, and then our game against Clackamas came down to the last 15 seconds. And it was just a lot of high-level basketball on a Friday night. Unfortunately, we came out on the wrong end against Clackamas, and then learned from it. And then against Jesuit, we got down 14-0 and then made a big run. We're up 6 at half. So talk about a point swing. And then the second half, we just had a hard time getting the ball in the hoop, and they got a lot of offensive rebounds. And so they went on a big run. And so it was a game of swings, but 4 really good teams in our gym this weekend. And we were excited to get this season going.
There's something to be said about playing tough teams to start the season.
That's absolutely true. It exposes your weaknesses, and the learning curve is steep. But I think your growth is really rapid because you're not playing somebody that doesn't push you. All right, if you do that, sometimes you feel comfortable and think, oh, everything's going really well. But after this weekend, we know what we got to get better at.
Tell us a little bit about your background as a player and a coach.
I played high school basketball up in Seattle at Eastside Catholic, and we're in the very competitive Metro League where every night I was guarding Division I players, and it was just so much fun to be in that environment. And then I came down and played at Pacific University in Forest Grove for 4 years under Ken Schumann, and then I stayed there during my master's and was an assistant for a year. And out in Forest Grove, that was just such a neat experience playing Division III. Such a great conference, really good basketball, learned a ton. And then I got my first teaching job at Scappoose High School, and I was a varsity assistant for Eric Vukala for my first 2 years. Multiple state champion at Westland, and talk about learning from the best right off the bat in my teaching and coaching career, which was great. And then I worked under a guy named Kim Swaim, and then Ryan Svensson and Mike Doherty. So my first 6 years, I was under 4 different head coaches, and it was drinking through a fire hose as a coach, just learning what I like to do, what I wouldn't like to do once I would eventually become a head coach. And so then I got the head coaching job at Scappoose after 6 years. and I was there for 5, and then now I'm in year 10 at Sherwood. So it's kind of crazy to think about. I feel like I'm one of the old heads around the state, besides Gene Potter and Phil Vessel and Scott Keller, but I've been around for a while now.
And you're coming off a very successful season. You won 21 games last year, won the league, won a first-round playoff game before you lost to West Lynn.
Yeah, we had a great team last year. It's one of the strongest teams we've had at Sherwood since I've been here. And we graduated a lot of length and a lot of leadership, but we have a great group back. Our 2 leading scorers are back, and Avery Johnson and Brody Rigg, and they're just right now coming off ankle injuries, so they weren't 100% this weekend, so they're just going to continue to get better. And a couple guys that came off the bench last year, and a bunch of guys that played JV last year, and we're all ready to go, and just having a great experience together so far.
So the 2 players you mentioned, Brady and Avery, those are probably your outstanding players for this year.
Yeah, Avery Johnson is a 6'3" lefty guard, just a power player. Does a little bit of everything, great rebounder, passer, and can push the floor. And Brody Rigg is a 6'5" wing that's getting recruited by a lot of colleges. He's got an elite skill set, and also he's a great passer. He was our leading scorer and our leading assist guy last year. So building stuff around them, and then we've got a lot of other kids that are really good at basketball. Judah Dresser had 20 on Friday night against Clackamas. Riley DeBoard is a little jitterbug lefty. Point guard, Jonah Farino, Jack Burgess. Nate MacArthur is a 6'4" kind of forward that just has blossomed. So we've got a lot of pieces, and they're just an amazing, amazing young men.
All right, Coach. My co-host today used to be the girls basketball coach at Benson, won a state championship, Eric Knox. Eric has a question for you.
What's good, Rahim? How you doing, man?
Hey, nice to be here.
Hey, I just had a question first and foremost, man. Like, your parents must have listened to a lot of R&B music, because you're the first white guy with the name Rahim. How'd you get that name? I had to look at a picture just to make sure.
That's the truth. I've got a very unique background just in general with my 4 older siblings and my parents and all of our names, but we all have a unique story. But I was named after a very close family friend named Rahim Murphy. His mother was from Ethiopia and his father was from Harlem. And my parents introduced his parents. And so their first son was named Rahim, and I'm named after him.
Man, that is so dope. I thought I was going to interview a black guy named Rahim Tufts. All right, so here's my question for you. What does a successful season look like for you?
In general, or for this year?
This year.
Yeah. For this year, I think we have a really high floor, but I really do think we have a high ceiling. In my opinion, Southridge, Tualatin, Central Catholic, and Nelson are kind of in their own tier in the state. Those top 4. And I think that we're in the mix of that next tier. And Oregon City is probably there after seeing them this weekend. Holy smokes. But us, Jesuit, Benson, Westview, I could just go down a list of teams that I think are in that conversation. And so successful season to me is, are we in that second round of playoffs in a position to get to Chiles? That's what every coach hopes for. And I really think that we have the ability to get there. So along with that, though, just building life lessons and having this group walk away as teammates for life and as friends for life.
Hey, Coach, our next guest after you is Coach Blue from Central Catholic. I'll tell him you put him in the top 4.
Please do. Apply a little pressure there.
Right. All right. Thanks for joining us, and we'll keep track of how Sherwood boys are doing during the season. We'll follow up with you, and we'll hope to get you back later in the season.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. That's Coach Rahim Tufts, the head boys basketball coach at Sherwood High School.
Hey Coach, your field deserves the best. At SportsBeat LLC, we proudly service local high schools with cutting-edge technology. Our robot painter delivers razor-sharp, consistent lines every single time. Specializing in football, soccer, and lacrosse, any grass or turf field at an affordable price with perfect lines and robotic precision. We are locally owned, reliable, and hassle-free. We're committed to making your fields look game day ready. Let us handle the field so you can focus on the team. Contact us at 503-545-4019 or visit our website at www.sportspaintllc.com. At Gilda's Italian Restaurant, we believe the best food is prepared simply, using the best possible ingredients and made with love. The same type of food you would experience in Italian homes, whether here or in Italy. Come check out Gilda's at 1601 Southwest Morrison, next to the Timber Stadium. That's Gilda's Italian Restaurant. And Sunset Corridor Services Group LLC, local company. They provide property management services throughout the Portland area. If you're thinking about making changes to how your residential properties are managed, give them a call at 503-970-6062.
All right, Coach Tufts put Central Catholic in the top 4 in the state. We're going to go out and talk to the Central Catholic coach, David Blue. And Coach Blue, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. Look forward to connecting.
Before we started our broadcast tonight, I talked a little bit about the incident that occurred Friday night in your game at Skyview. First, I was very impressed that you went out and got the national anthem squared away. That was a very moving experience, having that whole gym sing the national anthem.
No, definitely. Just, we have a great community here at Central Catholic, and everybody had some mishaps first game of the season, getting the microphone and the music going, but our student section all came together along with the entire gym, and so that was fun to see everybody come together.
Congratulations on the win Friday night. You beat Skyview 74-53. You are playing Wells from the PIL tonight. In fact, Oregon SportsBeat will be there doing the game. We look forward to that. So good luck in that game tonight. Tell us a little bit about your background as a player and as a coach.
Yes, excuse me. This is my 11th year as a head coach here at Central Catholic High School. I actually played high school basketball and graduated from Jesuit High School, played under Gene Potter, graduated college at Jessup University, Division II program school down in Northern California. After I graduated from college, came back up to Portland area and coached a year under Mike Doherty at Oregon City High School, and then went back down to California for about 10 years and came back up and coached with Gene Potter at Jesuit for almost 5 years. So
wow, those are great references on your resume, Mike Doherty and Gene Potter.
Yeah, definitely learned a lot from both of those two. Both different, but both great people, especially when it came to relationships.
Of course, 2 years ago, the state championship. By the way, I was watching Wake Forest and I saw Isaac Carr sitting on the bench. You also, Deuce Fischel, I think, is playing at Weber State. Do you know much about how he's doing?
Yeah, he's doing great. It's always an adjustment for high school guys when they go to that D1 level, just earning minutes and understanding roles. But Deuce has been getting some minutes, actually had double figures the other night against Oral Roberts University. So he's earning his way and getting his minutes. Same with Isaac. And then Marley's still down at Loyola Marymount, and we have some other guys around the country playing, at different levels as well.
Mm-hmm. You, Central lost in the quarterfinals last year at the playoffs to Jesuit, I believe.
Yes, thanks for reminding me. That third time playing them, we played them twice earlier in the year. Once with Zamir, the other without, and to play them that third time, they were on fire at the end of the year, and we had a big lead going into halftime, and they just caught fire and got into some foul trouble, and they just were playing at another level, and really, was a tough loss, but definitely another opportunity of growth for us as we head into this season.
When you played at Jesuit, Coach Potter must have been the coach there.
Yes.
How does it feel standing across the court from him when you're playing each other?
It's all love. He's definitely competitive. So he doesn't care if I'm his friend or I played for him. He's a competitor, and so am I. But it's always fun when both schools get together and compete and bring out the best in one another. I know he's rooting for me when we aren't playing.
All right, let's talk about your players that you have this year. On what I saw Friday night, you've got some great talent, of course, capped off by Zamir Paschal, everybody calls him Bam. The two big guys up front, Nicholson and Miller, those look like great players. Talk about your team this year.
No, I think we do have talent coming back. We lost 5 transfers, and of course losing Deuce and Isaac to Division 1, trying to get a feel for what we had coming back, and they all showed up bigger, better, faster, and stronger, and more together. And so I'm really excited about the group. We do have Zamir Paschal returning for his senior year. He's been a 4-year starter for us, 4-year basketball player. He missed part of last year, the end of last season, which definitely was a big loss for us, but he's back and healthy. Robbie Long Jr. continues to develop, committed already and signed to play Division 1 basketball at Loyola, Maryland, back east. Big guard, can shoot it, great leader, defend. He's improved tremendously. And then you have Jalen Nicholson and Donovan Miller. Jalen at 6'7" and Donovan at 6'8", with their shooting ability and diverse skill set, and experience. The four of them together really help lead us.
Donovan Miller had the three-pointer going the other night.
Yeah, he can get it off. He's got a quick release, and he's just put so much work into his game, and his confidence is just at another level right now.
Tonight you've got Wells on the schedule. What do you know about them?
I saw them play this weekend. They're tough, well coached, good guard play, some great shooting, and athletic big down there. So looking forward to testing ourselves again before we head off to Utah on Wednesday.
I saw you have 2 teams from Utah on Friday and Saturday night. What do you know about them?
Well, Davis High School is a defending state champion in Utah, so we'll have a tough matchup on Friday, and then we come back and play Temp View on Saturday night. They're currently ranked in the top 20 in the nation. They have a 6'8" wing and a 7-footer. Both of them have committed to BYU, which is a top 10 program in the country at the NCAA level. So definitely will be a test for us.
I remember last year you started about the same way. You made a swing south and played some really, really good teams. So you're kind of off to the same start this year.
No, definitely. Always want to challenge ourselves. The guys want to, in order to be the best, you have to compete against the best, and it gives you a great opportunity to learn how you stack up, not only in our state, but around the country, and also gives great experiences. We have a couple new guys, with Malcolm Weatherspoon and Isaac Bongen, and we have some returners in Luddy and Jocko, and just giving those experience to everyone is just a great team bonding, and they want to challenge themselves, see where they stack up.
You mentioned those new kids, Weatherspoon and Bongen. They both look really good. Friday night when we did them. Coach, my broadcast partner today is a former girls basketball coach at Benson, won a state championship there. Eric Knox. Eric has a question for you.
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
Oh, my man. The only way we can connect. There you go.
Only way we can connect. Man, who is your favorite former high school girls basketball coach that's black, that coached in the PIL, that influenced how you think about the game and how you move about in the world?
Is anybody else fit that category?
Anyone fit that category? Dave?
And has some skill on the basketball court. Coach Knox.
Go Beavs.
That's right. I knew Dave when he was young, man. So, it's just great to see him involved, not only as a coach, but as a man. I had one question, because you at Central Catholic, there's always pressure every year. How do you feel the talent you have this year stack up against all those teams that you've coached over the last, 10, 11 years?
Oh, just comparing my team to my previous teams? I think I'll tell you right now, we have some pretty talented guys. I know we don't, maybe some of the big names, we've had Isaac Carr and Darius Kukwazi and some of these other guys that have gone through Marley and played at the Division I level. We currently have, 6 guys that are receiving Division I interest and/or already have offers or already signed. So I'd probably say at one point in time when they're all receiving it as juniors and seniors, this could be my most talented team, 1 through 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 aren't bad either. So definitely a lot of expectations around the state, but the guys have way more expectations for themselves than what everyone else.
Coach, I've been doing Central Catholic basketball now for a number of years. This may be the fastest team I've ever seen you have.
Well, that's saying something, Dave. We've had some pretty fast ones. So.
Okay, well, Coach, good luck tonight. I'll be at the game. I'll see you there. Good luck on the tournament in Utah and the upcoming LSI. We'll follow Central Catholic during the course of the season. We'll get you back on again. So, Coach Blue, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate all you do for high school basketball in Oregon. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Eric.
All love, brother.
All right, that's our show for today, and thanks for joining us here. We look forward to new and exciting co-hosts, guests, and shows in the weeks to come. Join us at 1 p.m. on Mondays. Our next broadcast is next Monday, December 15th. Our guests today included Kate Williams, the girls basketball coach at Catlin Gabel, Andrew Vancil, the boys basketball coach at Beaverton, Luke Lindell, the girls basketball coach at Newberg, Jimmy Watts, the boys basketball coach at Laleridge, Rahim Tufts, the boys basketball coach at Sherwood, and David Blue, the boys basketball coach at Central Catholic. Our crew today, Ryan Johnson's our producer, Alvin Myers, our technician, Ben Pahl, our director, my co-host, and thanks for the insightful questions, Eric Knox. I want to let you know we're Oregon SportsBeat. You can go to our website. We have a calendar up of things that we have coming up, and you can find out what we have coming up, when it is, and where it is. Tonight we're at Central Catholic for boys basketball versus Wells. Tomorrow night we're at Central Catholic for girls basketball versus Laleridge. Friday night we'll be at Sandy High School for boys basketball game, and then the real big event, December 29th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 30th, will be at 3 Portland high schools for the PIL Holiday Classic. All right, I'm your host, Dave Hall for SportsBeat Weekly.